Okay.
Let's go on to some sequences.
Yeah.
I forgot that we do sequence sections, and I didn't read these ones, but I will play the part of the audience. And
Okay.
It's been a weird week for me. I'm getting married on Friday. We're recording on Sunday. So,
Right. You have a damn good excuse.
Well, kind of. I mean, it was on, I have an okay excuse.
You're getting married.
I've been
It's a
distracted.
pretty good excuse.
I've been distracted.
Okay. I mean, it's not as good an excuse as, someone you love died and you're planning the funeral, but...
That's true. On the plus side, both of these are posts that I've, memorized because I love them. So I'm ready to rock and roll.
Okay. So, LessWrong posts. The first one was called Professing and Cheering. And
Yay.
in this one, Eliezer relates how someone on a panel in a conference was on a panel about whether science and religion are compatible, gave a big long explanation about her pagan belief that a cow licked the universe into existence or something. And he says that, first of all, is absolutely just mind-bogglingly unbelievable. But when she was speaking, that she spoke with pride, self-satisfaction, a deliberate flaunting of herself. That strange pride, satisfaction, flaunting clearly had something to do with her knowing that her beliefs were scientifically outrageous. And it wasn't that she hated science, she professed that religion and science were compatible. Should I just keep going then real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. She didn't recite her creation myth with the fanatical faith of someone who needs to reassure herself. She didn't act like she expected us, the audience, to be convinced. If you had to profess a religious belief to satisfy a priest or satisfy a co-religionist, heck, to satisfy your own self-image as a religious person, you would have to pretend to believe much more convincingly than this woman was doing. As she recited her tale of the primordial cow, she wasn't even trying to be persuasive on that front. Wasn't even trying to convince us that she took her own religion seriously. Her recitation of the creation story wasn't about the creation of the world at all. Rather, she was cheering for paganism, like holding up a banner at a football game. But it wasn't just a cheer, like marching, but an outrageous cheer, like marching naked. That's why it mattered to her that what she was saying was beyond ridiculous. If she tried to make it sound more plausible, it would have been like putting on clothes. And I did a lot of editing to shorten that down so that we wouldn't be reading forever.
Yeah. That's a weird thing.
I've run into that sort of thing before.
I have too.
Yeah.
It's I don't get it. Can someone explain the psychology of this to me?
I mean, we can because that's what the next post is about.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that was just, I've seen that too, and it's when people don't even pretend to act like they believe what they say they believe is a crazy thing to see.
Do you have any examples? You had one that you mentioned maybe several months ago about you knew somebody who claimed to be a vampire.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not sure if they took themselves seriously or not. Hopefully not.
I don't know.
To the point where, if they had a compulsion, if they were, if it was some, sex play with consent, fine, okay, that's your cup of tea.
They were literally expecting to die if they reached the age of 30 without finding someone to feed off of.
Or are they just saying that?
I don't know. It's such a weird
at some
belief,
point it's hard,
right?
It's hard to, maybe even they don't know, right?
Yeah.
I had dumb thoughts when I was a kid, and, when make-believe was really easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't imagine what it would be like, I don't know, at the age of driving a car and having a job where I still was able to entertain stuff that seriously.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think
apparently
of...
she wasn't being serious.
But that's the thing. She didn't. You could tell she didn't actually believe it. She was just saying that this is what she believed.
I'm trying to think of something that outlandish I've ever seen in real life. I've definitely seen beliefs as attire, and then the next one is applause lights, right? But that's next episode.
What I have seen. No, it's a different one. Applause lights comes later. What I have seen is, since I've met some Satanists and gone to a satanic mass, they're for the most part atheists, right? Or at least the ones I met, atheists, agnostics, people who are don't really believe in any of this stuff.
Yeah,
but they
I see
say they
Satanism
believe
as,
it.
They're kind of doing that more as a joke.
I mean, these people were. It was a weird sort of joke where it's kind of a joke, but it's kind of not. They know it's not real, and it's sort of tongue in cheek. But on the other hand, they're also but this is still my religion.
I've never been to a satanic temple, but I imagine that it would also attract the real Satanists, if any actually exist.
I don't think any actually exist. And also the satanic temple was a, little community room that they rented out once a week. They brought in folding chairs and that stuff, yeah.
There's an episode of
There was no black altar.
there's an episode
Aw.
of Silicon Valley where one of the characters is a Satanist, and they're just at one of the masses and stuff, and like there's a person sitting there naked with a goat head on,
Yeah.
and then like at the end it's like, okay guys, that was a lot of fun. Well, our meal today is Chick-fil-A. I know the whole gay marriage thing, but the chicken's just so darn good. And don't forget, the parking is limited for 2 hours. So like
It was similar to that. Yeah.
I
I mean, the
picture-
ritual involved a naked person, and
I'm picturing that. I'm assuming that the writers had somebody go to one of these things, or one of them actually was a regular attendee or something, because it seemed like just too spot on. But maybe that wouldn't attract a real Satanist. There's got to be somebody out there. Like if there's people out there who believe in paganism, or who I've had people who overtly claim to believe like in Norse mythology,
me too.
and so
And
like
they can't literally believe that. There's
Well,
just no way.
I feel that way about all religious people, and yet I'm willing to give like the Christians. I'll say, okay, they say they actually believe it.
I'm willing to give the Christians the benefit of that because they were raised in it from childhood and had it like drilled into them, right?
Yeah, you don't discover a religion as an adult and be like, oh, that makes sense to me.
Right.
That said, I had another thing. I forget who we were going back and forth with about like whether or not religious people actually believe abortion is like murder, like we use murder in real contexts. Well, you know what? I'll get the data later, but since I've already started, I'll just finish. The number of people who claim to believe that the Bible is the literal word of God, I'm pretty sure is lower than the number of people who've actually read the Bible. And like, oh yeah, no, that's of course a divinely inspired book. It's written by the creator of the universe. Oh, I haven't read it. It's kind of long and boring.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So like, if you really believe that the creator of the universe, was, if not a published author, a ghostwriter, or had a ghostwriter for his book, you would slog through it, right?
Yeah.
But you can't say that you believe that, and you can't actually believe that and like not trouble yourself to read this book.
Right.
I submit. I don't think that.
But you think people can't be lazy?
If you thought this was the most
Priest read it and
important,
gave me the cliff notes.
if you think this is the most important thing in the universe, like if I don't know, maybe I'm
Well,
I'm
what if you
modeling.
thought the most important thing in the universe was understanding really high-level mathematics? Would you be able to learn those things?
If it was as easy to do as reading the Bible, then yes.
For
Have
some
you tried
people,
to read the Bible?
yeah,
It's
for some people,
not
reading the
easy.
Bible is as hard as doing high-level mathematics.
I think maybe high-level mathematics is easy for you then. Like,
No,
if
it's not easy at all. I'm just saying some people have a really hard time reading.
If you're literate, you can get through it. It sucks, but not everyone is. I think I'm contesting the analogy, not saying that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree with you.
I'm sure you could read the words, but you'd probably think I'm too dumb to understand these because they can't really mean what they're saying, right? Which is the problem.
Yeah. Okay. That puts a good point on it. I'm willing to concede the point there till I come back with numbers.
Yeah. Like, so someone reading who doesn't have like a world-class education and sees that God came down and met Moses at an inn and was really pissed off at him because he didn't circumcise his son, they'd be like, God couldn't have really met someone at an inn and been pissed off. I'm reading this wrong. The priest's got to tell me what this really means.
And I suppose I did it with other important things. Like I haven't gone and done primary research on evolution or anything, right? And yet I'll take the scientists at their word for it.
Right.
I'll-
And you
I'll-
could literally read all the evolution textbooks if you wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, I guess at that point though, but
Just because you could read the words doesn't mean you could understand the science.
right. But I guess the main difference there is that I don't think that's the most important thing in the universe,
Yeah.
right?
But if you did think it was the most important thing in the universe, do you think you could read the science well enough to be at scientist level?
I feel like I'd make it a priority in my life, right?
Yeah.
Like I think if I really believed, and maybe I think I'm modeling like a rationalist religious person, where it's like if I really believed that the religious worldview was the actual correct way the world was, I'd be like, this is super important. Like I'm going to theology school. Like I need to understand this on a very important level. This is the fucking world, right?
I guess not everyone can go to theology school. And so the people who do go to theology tell people like, yes, this is the most important thing in the world. And the really important part of it is that you should have kids and, tithe to God and not kill people. And then you're covered.
Yeah, if you say so, Mr. Priest.
Right? I mean, you can't.
Who do I make the check out to? All right, cool. All right. So
If someone tells you what the most important thing in the world is telling you to do, if you trust them, good enough?
yeah, I suppose so. I suppose. I'll give it some more thought.
Meanwhile, on to the next one.
Yeah. Belief as attire. You want to grab this one?
Yeah. So, another form of improper belief is belief as group identification, as a way of belonging. Robin Hanson uses the excellent metaphor of wearing unusual clothing, a group uniform like a priest's vestments, or a Jewish skull cap, and so I'll call this belief as attire. It is very easy for a human being to genuinely, passionately, gut level, belong to a group, to cheer for their favorite sports team. Identifying with the tribe is a very strong emotional force. People will die for it. And once you get people to identify with the tribe, the beliefs which are attire of that tribe will be spoken with the full passion of belonging to that tribe.
So
This is just where... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you got it.
I mean, so this is just where you'll chant the party line to signal your affiliation to the party.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like any comical examples from real life that I've seen this. I wanted to do the applause lights one. I might have told this story before. I'm sure I have, but it was just like it was like I'm sitting there like this. I'm watching the lights. This is crazy, but
I mean, the primordial cow, I think, is a good example of that in real life.
yeah.
I think that I would call that almost, I was thinking about this, it's almost counter-signaling in a way. I think I'm using that phrase wrong, but it seems more like what that particular woman was trying to do by being at a science conference and then talking about her crazy religion and kind of having everybody laugh at her and laughing at herself, is to be a little bit shocking, like to be subversive. Like, look how cool I am. I believe in this thing. Or like, look how crazy I am. Woo.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very much I identify so strongly with my tribe, I'm willing to say this patently ridiculous thing in public.
Yeah.
Or it's
Cheering
just
for
like,
paganism.
or I think it'd be just fun to be super weird, and I'm going for quirky points.
Well, I mean, it could be that too.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good explanation for a lot of crazy beliefs that people will say, even if they don't act like they believe them.
So what's a real example that we see of people doing belief as attire? I mean, is that where like rationalists go around, saying, I guess, no, it's not the same thing as like running around saying buzzwords like singularity or something.
Right.
It's going to be maybe more like,
I guess.
like saying, oh, you should give your money to Miri might be a belief as attire kind of thing. Maybe picking at rationalists is not the right way to pick at this, but there should be a way to do it because it could look the same, right?
Yeah.
As I'm trying to think.
I think a good example is believing that 3 different people are one person, but that are also 3 different people. Like, I mean, something that is literally logically incoherent, but you say it anyway, and you say you actually believe it.
Wait, you're saying that's a belief as attire?
Yeah, the Trinity. If something is logically incoherent, how could it not be?
Maybe I'm missing what belief as attire is then. I thought that was deliberately wearing something, or like wearing in kind of a metaphorical sense. I guess I think I see what you're saying. Like if you go around saying, yes, I believe in the Trinity, then that it feels pretty similar to the previous thing, actually.
Yeah, maybe an easier one is just pick any political stance, right? Like if you're having lunch with coworkers or something and they're talking about how, messed up the drug war is, and you'd be like, yeah, and those fucking billionaires, am I right? And then like, yeah, that's
Marxism.
Yeah.
I actually think anytime you are in a political discussion and you feel reluctant to disagree with people on your own side, that's a sign that it might be a belief as attire, because you disagree with them on this, but you don't want to say it out loud because that would mark you as not part of the tribe. And
Yeah.
I have those moments all the damn time.
Or if you just go around the circle and all chime in on how much you agree with each other, that would be an example of beliefs as attire too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you might actually believe that thing.
Perfect.
But you might actually believe that thing.
But that's not a prerequisite for beliefs as attire.
Right.
Or rather, that's not an exclusionary factor of it.
Yes.
You can either,
It's more obvious when the belief is ridiculous.
You can either profess the belief and that counts, or you can actually believe the belief and profess it and that counts too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I don't have much else to say on that one.
No, me neither.
It's fun.
It was interesting, and when I first read it, quite the revelation, which was, why I read the sequences to be like, oh my god, that explains this thing that I never could quite figure out.
Yeah, like and
at this point, it's been out for 15 years, so it's not nearly the revelation that it was when you first read it, or when I first read it.
But it does explain why people will spend $60 on a football jersey to wear around, you know?
Right.
Or, you know, maybe the modern version of my daily life is like people's laptop stickers.
Mm.
And it's like, why do you have, you know, an AWS sticker on your laptop? It's like, oh, you want to tell me that you know, or that you worked with us, or you went to a conference or something. Okay, cool.
Well, that's not believe it as attire. That's just attire as attire.
That's true. Yeah, all right.
Like you could, I don't know. There's some like, you could say that corporate culture is a belief, or a corporate
If you buy
affiliation.
into it.
What's the thing where you identify? Maybe it's just brand identification.
Mhm.
What's the thing where you identify with the brand? Oh, yeah, maybe like owning Apple products and being really like gung ho about Apple products.
That's
Could
like
be an
in
example
general
of it.
tribalism. I think
Yeah.
if you were like convinced that Apple is always superior and the best,
Oh, I've met people like that.
yeah, then that would be more of a belief as attire thing.
No, like I knew someone that owned every new Apple device as soon as it came out and wouldn't shut up about how great and visionary Steve Jobs was. And
I mean,
I wonder
to
if
be
they still
fair,
feel that
Steve
way
Jobs
if
was
they-
pretty amazing.
I wonder if they still feel that way if they've jumped off the train now that Apple has stopped innovating.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe you're just too entrenched and you just got to keep saying that. That would be just belief as attire, professing. You know, now they're at the point of just, you know, professing and cheering, right? It's like they now they don't really believe this stuff anymore, but they're committed. They've got to say it. That's actually not really
Yeah.
the point of that post either.
I'm kind of trying to think whether Robin Hansen's writing about signaling has kind of superseded some of these sequences at this point.
Mm.
I feel like they're a bit more targeted, like in the sense of
He definitely explored them more and was a lot more academic and thorough about them.
I guess it depends on how much you love evolutionary psychology, but okay, here's like not only I guess an evolutionary psychology explanation for this behavior, but like game theoretic explanations. It makes it a lot more coherent for me, where I can look at people doing these crazy behaviors and like, why are you doing this? This is ridiculous. And it's like, oh, this actually was adaptive. Kind of the whole cultural evolution thing
Yeah.
all comes back together.
And the mental model of the press secretary, you know, like it doesn't matter if you actually believe this or not. You'll say you'll convince yourself you believe it.
Right. The
Yeah.
press secretary of the person,
Yeah.
the brain.
I'm also a little distracted at the sequence part of this whole episode because I'm at a bit of a time crunch. So
Oh, well, in that case, we should wrap up.
I think so. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. Sorry about that.
No. It's I didn't mention it, you guys didn't know,